Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about the Sentry mini-series. Actually, I don't know if it's a mini-series or a maxi-series. It's 8 issues long, written by Paul Jenkins. It came out in 2005. The story itself, it's pretty good, even though it's 2 issues too long. I really love the art by John Romita Jr. A lot of people think that Sentry is just a Superman knockoff, that he's not too interesting. But I think he's fascinating, especially the aspect that he has tied to him, which is the Void. Because the basic idea with Sentry is that for every life he saves, the Void has to take another life. So at the beginning of the series, we have Sentry going all over the world, saving people left and right, fighting against supervillains. So even though you're not seeing this, and Sentry's oblivious to this fact at the beginning of the story, the Void is killing people left and right. At the beginning of the story, Sentry actually thinks that the Void is imprisoned in the secret room in the Avengers Tower. But this is not the case. He escapes anytime he wants, any way he wants. The Void is basically this unstoppable entity. So this is sort of like the central premise of the story, even though it's going to change as it progresses. That the fact is that the Void has been escaping from a cell. But the main focus of the story as it progresses starts to revolve around the fact that Robert Reynolds, the alter ego of the Sentry, he seems to be a guy that's always down on his luck and is pretty much all the time the Sentry because everyone really wants to be around the Sentry in the first place. There's even a couple of lines in the story where his wife actually wants him to be the Sentry, not be Robert. So we have this conflict between his two personas that's going to be a big deal further down the line in the story. So as the story progresses, what we discover is that the Void actually puts the Sentry on the path on discovering this whole conspiracy on trying to make the Sentry disappear. Now, this was a big part of this character when he made his first appearance because it was established retroactively that he was a hero from the Silver Age. And due to his conflict with the Void, he had to disappear. He had to make everyone forget who he was in the first place. Then, during the relaunch of the Avengers series in the early 2000s with Brian Michael Bendis, he reintroduces the Sentry. The Sentry actually put himself into the vault in solitary confinement and threw away the key. But the Sentry was reawakened during this story. He helps the Avengers stop this revolt at the prison. And there's a moment where he rips Carnage in half and throws him into space. It's really hardcore. So the Sentry seeks out the professor, the one that made the serum that made Sentry the Sentry in the first place. So what we end up discovering is first, the Sentry actually takes the serum because Robert Reynolds was a junkie and he broke into the laboratory to find something to get high off of. So what we discover is that the Sentry persona is a byproduct of Robert's personality and that the Void is the core personality. The big revelation that we get in the story that drives this conspiracy is that the serum that Sentry took when he was a kid works on anyone. The serum is still in his bloodstream up until this day, and if anyone can get a vial of Sentry's blood, they can convert themselves into Sentries themselves. And we discovered that the US government was so afraid of the Sentry that they tried to kill him, destroy him, or make him disappear at least 9 times. So at the end of the story, we get this final showdown between the Sentry and the Void, where the Sentry just decides to kill the Void once and for all. That he didn't do this before because subconsciously it's like committing suicide. That's what stopped him in the first place. But now, since it's Robert and no one likes Robert, he decides to throw him into the sun, saving the day. And this is how the story ends. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.